I get it when a friend asks if they should drop a few thousand on a drone. The first thing that pops into my head is the same worry I had before I even lifted the propellers. What if I spend all that cash and end up with a piece of tech that's more trouble than it's worth? It's a real dilemma, especially when you're eyeing a high-end model that promises cinema-grade footage. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'm going to walk through why the DJI Mavic 3 Cine Premium combo might be the right answer for you or why it could be the kind of splurge you'll regret. First off, let's talk about what this drone actually brings to the table. At its core, the Mavic 3 replaces the usual 1-inch sensor you see on most consumer drones with a full-frame 4/3-inch CMOS from Hasselblad. That alone reshapes the whole shooting experience. The larger sensor captures more light, which translates to richer colors and smoother gradients, especially when you're chasing sunrise or sunset light. In practice, that means you can pull back the ISO and still keep noise under control, something that's a pain point on smaller drones. If you've ever tried to get a clean shot in the blue hour and ended up with a grainy mess, this sensor can actually make that scenario workable. But a bigger sensor also means a heavier payload, and DJI compensates with a 46-minute flight time. In the real world, that isn't a straight 46 minutes of uninterrupted video. You'll be doing takeoffs, adjustments, and occasional hoverovers. Still, on a typical outing you can expect about 30 to 35 solid minutes of usable airtime, which is enough to capture a full landscape sequence without constantly swapping batteries. The combo even throws in 2 extra batteries, so you're not forced into a frantic swapandron routine if you're shooting a longer piece. Now, you might be wondering how easy it is to actually get that footage. The Mavic 3 ships with the DJI RC Pro, a built-in screen that feels more like a handheld controller than a clunky remote. The menu layout is still DJI-centric, but the biggest win here is the reduced latency on the 15-kilometer OcuSync 3.0 transmission. In daylight you're looking at a crisp 1080p live feed, and the latency is low enough that you can nail precise movements, like tracking a moving subject with active track. I tried it on a hiking trip where I wanted to follow a cyclist down a winding mountain road. The drone kept a steady lock, and the footage stayed smooth even as the rider shifted speed. Autofocus on the Mavic 3 is a mixed bag. In good daylight, the Hasselblad optics lock onto subjects quickly, and the focus transitions are almost invisible. In low light or when you're trying to focus on something small against a bright background, you might notice a brief hunt. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's something to be aware of if you plan on doing a lot of nighttime work or fast-moving subjects in dim environments. The good news is the focus can be manually overridden, and the Pro's joystick makes that feel tactile rather than buried in a menu. Stabilization is where the drone truly shines. The 3-axis gimbal, paired with the larger sensor, keeps the footage buttery smooth even when you're fighting a gust of wind. I tested it on a breezy coastal cliff, and the camera held a rock-steady horizon while the background swayed. For creators who need that cinematic look without spending hours in post-stabilization, this is a genuine time-saver. Speaking of post, the Cine version supports Apple ProRes 422HQ and 10-bit 4:2:2 color. That's a level of color depth you normally see on high-end cinema cameras, not on a drone. If your workflow already includes DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut Pro, you'll appreciate the ability to grade footage without fighting banding. On the flip side, those large files eat up storage fast. You'll need a high-capacity SSD for both onboard recording and for editing later, which adds to the overall cost. Now let's address the audience question: who should actually buy this? If you're a professional videographer who needs aerial shots that match the quality of your ground-based footage, the Mavic 3 Cine is one of the few consumer-class drones that can deliver that. It's also a solid fit for serious hobbyists who have already outgrown the Mavic 2 Pro and want a sensor upgrade without moving to a full-size cinema rig. The extra batteries and the robust transmission range make it suitable for location shoots where you can't afford to lose a minute of flight time. On the other hand, if you're just getting started with aerial photography, or you primarily want a drone for quick vacation clips, you might be better off with the standard Mavic 3 or even the Air 2S. Those models still give you excellent 4K video and good flight time, but at a lower price point and with a lighter learning curve. The Cine Combo's ProRes workflow and full-frame sensor add complexity that a beginner might not need, and the price difference is substantial. What about